One of the most misunderstood ideas in Judaism is the concept of tznius, modesty, especially regarding women. Many think that tznius means to hide, that the ideal is not to be seen. However, there's an infinitely deeper approach to tznius. In this age, beauty has been corrupted. The term beauty generally refers to outer beauty, a surface beauty that distracts from and hides the inner self. Physical beauty is neither good nor bad. It's merely a vessel that has the potential to be used for good or bad. While the physical exterior is important, our true self is our neshama, our mind and consciousness. Our inner world, thoughts, ideas, choices, beliefs, midos, and emotions are the deepest and most genuine parts of our self. True beauty is when the physical serves as a vessel that expresses one's true self, their inner essence, into the world. The focus must always be on the inner beauty as the ikar, as the essence. The purpose of tznius is not to hide you, but to reveal you, the true you. Tznius shifts the focus from the external trappings to the actual self, the neshama, which lies beneath the surface and illuminates the physical vessel. True beauty requires a beautiful root and core, and the physical must be used to project that inner beauty outwards. In Parshas Seitzei, the Torah discusses the prohibition against illicit relationships. These relationships are usually referred to as gilui arayos, literally translated as revealing one's nakedness. What does this mean? Why does the Torah refer to a forbidden relationship in such a manner? An ideal marriage consists of two people who endlessly break down the barriers and walls between them, creating ever deeper levels of existential and spiritual connection and oneness. Physical connection is part of a spiritual relationship, and when used correctly becomes uplifted to something transcendent. While a true marriage relationship creates a transcendent bond, an animalistic relationship consists only of a physical surface connection, devoid of anything deeper. It has no purpose or meaning, no direction, no transcendent element. When one violates gilui arayos, they proclaim that the intimate realm is nothing more than a means for physical pleasure. And in doing so, one reveals that they're merely an animal, a physical being lacking connection to that which is higher and spiritual. By entering into an illicit relationship, one expresses that they view themselves as a purely physical being, as if their body is all that they are. And if so, then that by revealing their body to the world, they are revealing their nakedness, that they are merely a piece of flesh, nothing more. They have self-identified as an animal, a body that does not reflect their neshama, one who does not wish to use their body to reflect anything higher. And this is the ultimate shame, which is why the Torah repeatedly refers to gilui arayos as an act of shame. And with this in mind, we can understand the strange progression of topics in this week's parsha. The parsha begins by discussing the Eishes Yifas Tohar, the enigmatic halacha which allows the marriage between a Jewish soldier and a female captive of war. And the Torah then discusses the topic of the hated wife. And finally, the Torah discusses the case of a ben soror umoreh, the rebellious son. What's the connection between these three topics, and what's the deeper meaning behind this progression? The answer is quite striking. This is a three-step process, a natural progression that the Torah warns us against. When one marries a Yifas Tohar, he does so out of passion and lust. A man at war is unstable, more inclined to give in to his animalistic urges. His desire to marry this captive of war is almost guaranteed to be rooted in physical desire, lacking any spiritual underpinning. As such, the Torah establishes many obstacles and barriers between the soldier's original inclination and his ultimate permission to act on that desire. In addition to having her shave her head and prolonging the time before marriage, the Torah requires many other such conditions be fulfilled in order to cool his flame of passion and help him think clearly. However, if he still desires her at the end, he is permitted to marry her. And nonetheless, this will likely lead to a very unstable and unspiritual marriage. When a relationship is founded purely in the physical, there are often fundamental disagreements in values and outlooks, leading the couple to grow apart. This is why the Torah places the discussion of the hated wife right after the topic of Eishes Yifas Tohar. It is this foundation that leads to such an unstable marriage. And it's no surprise that the topic of ben soror umoreh is soon to follow. Chazal discuss the various halachos of the ben soror umoreh, but there are two things that are clear. First, it is basically impossible for a child of this nature to ever exist. And second, to qualify as a Ben Sora Mora, the child would have to possess the most barbaric animalistic character traits. However, the pattern is clear. An animalistic marriage leads to an unstable and unspiritual relationship, and such a relationship creates an unstable home and is the only imaginable means through which a Ben Sora Mora can come into this world. These are not three disconnected discussions. This is a chain reaction. And this is the deep point. There are always two levels of reality, the surface level and the deeper spiritual level. The surface is meant to reflect the spiritual, reveal it, emanate its truth and beauty. But often we struggle, we forget, we get caught up in the deception that the surface is all that there is. But even when we fail, even when we fall, there's always hope. There's always a path back to our true selves. And this is the message of Elul. This is the message of life, to strive to see more, feel more, learn more, become more. May we all be inspired to not only see past the surface, but to then reveal that truth through the surface, to live holistic lives of truth, spiritual beauty, and true oneness.